there is no other substitution to working extremely hard. And it's becoming more and more prominent in the world of AI, especially when intelligence is getting democratized through OpenAIs and Geminis out there. You can find intelligence pretty easily, but you still need to work rigorously and very hard, hours and hours and hours, pretty much 7 days a week, in order to go far and compete with the global companies.
Sound of Startups podcast is hosted by Taj, produced by Amplitude Ventures, your partner in early stage startups.
Hello, everyone. Today I have someone who has been working in music industry for quite long, but has started the typical unconventional Indian way. As you say in India, we always do. First we do engineering, then we figure out what to do in life. And that's how the journey for this guy started. Sourabh sits at the intersection of design and technology. And he first studied engineering, then went to design school, and then he went on to do work with consumer products companies. And then eventually he ended up in music, not because of chance, but because of pure love. And he has partners who are from very different part of the world. He's a very unusual convert, because in India, you rarely do things in music if you come from technology, because technology in itself plays it so well. When you have people with such interesting background, it's always great to welcome them. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to welcome Sourabh. Sourabh, how are you?
Hey Taj, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I'm doing great.
Yeah, that's quite fantastic. So, where are you based right now?
So currently I'm spending some time in Mumbai. I'm in India at the moment. Otherwise, I'm between Stockholm and New York quite a lot. But right now, just spending some time in Indian market.
So, what is something that takes you to all these three places?
Yeah, so for me, it's just the passion to build something global. That's the common connection between all three things. And also these three cities happen to be the powerhouses of the music tech. So if you look at all the music that is happening in India, it's coming out of Mumbai. If you look at the music tech capital in Europe, that's happening pretty much in Stockholm. Some of the biggest music tech companies have come from Stockholm.
Okay, then let me ask you very simply. What does your company do?
So, in very simple word, you can enter a simple prompt into our platform. And when you enter a prompt, it generates a song. It is fully based on the prompt that you've written. You can actually ask it to make a lo-fi song and it to make a lo-fi song. Or if you say that, make a song in the style of XYZ artist, it will actually make the song in the style of that artist if they are in our catalog, if they are working with us. So people can make music in the style of the existing artists, or they can make any song or any music they can ever imagine with the help of samplers.
Okay, so I got it. So there are two parts. One part is that you have an algorithm that helps you to make song. That is one. And the second thing is you have some preloaded voice samples, which are usually of some renowned artist. And then you say, I want to make a song in the voice of that artist. And everything that you have imported the data of that particular artist is ethically sourced and licensed. And a part of the income of everything that's created also goes back to the artist. And on the other side, the creator gets to create whatever they want and enjoy.
So it's not just the voice.
Yeah.
Voice is like one of the subset of what we allow people to make. So even if you are a music producer with only music, you can train your AI model. And we allow the music generation in the style of that artist.
Okay, that makes sense. So how did it all started?
In 2023, I saw that AI models were coming, like LLMs were becoming super popular. And I saw this future because I've always been working in the products which are 4 to 5 years ahead in the market. I've worked in voice interfaces before they were big. I worked on voice foldable smartphones before they were too big. Worked on metaverse before Facebook became Meta. So before all the AI music platforms I saw this future that it's gonna happen. In 2023, it became very clear when Meta released one of their technologies called Music Gen with open source. It became super duper clear that music generation and the song generation is going to be very prominent. It's going to be a game-changing technology. But I realized very early on that that music industry is a bit different from rest of the industries. So very early on, I knew that it's not going to be a technology problem, but it's rather going to be a legal problem to build the right company in this space. So started thinking more about how would artists make the compensation in the world of AI music. And of course, we also had to solve the problem of technology around how would we allow for the song generation, especially very high quality in nature. How would we source high quality data at scale, given that we are fully bootstrapped in nature and we had to build something with the global impact. So there were a bunch of challenges, but one by one we started finding the solutions for all of them. And before we knew anything, we had Soundverse in front of us, which had already partnered with over 500 artists by mid 2024. And right now we are working with crazy amount of artists.
So, how did you found the people?
Yeah, so I would say with a lot of difficulty. I actually worked with a lot of people throughout the timeline. So 2023, when I left Spotify, I was working with a friend of mine who I was sharing a lot of ideas with back and forth. And he happened to be working in the robotics area, a little bit different from music. So worked with him for some time. He was doing his PhD at that time. And I wanted someone who can go full time with me and go all in. And I realized that he was not ready to leave his PhD. And the first person that I came across was someone who's very active in the music and the tech scene of Stockholm, especially. So especially if we look at like all the major electronic artists which have come out of Stockholm, there's one name which was common across a lot of them was Ash Pornori. And he also happened to be a tech investor. He's very much involved with a lot of networking events. He's involved like connected with a lot of tech companies. So I thought, how about I reach out to him and make him part of this journey? He was kind enough to have a chat with me. We started talking.
And then how did you find the US co-founder?
And then I was looking for a co-founder who could actually bring a lot of technical expertise into the table, because yes, I do have the engineering background, but I had never made foundation models until that point. So I started looking for people in my network. I connected to this friend of mine from IIT Bombay who happened to have gone to Georgia Tech to study masters in music technology. So first I was talking to him that, hey, how about building something together? And he was already sort of building an idea at that point, but he connected me to a friend of his who was working at Apple in the music team at that point. We connected for a while. So you will feel that there is a lot of hit and miss. Like you have to go through a lot of connections before finding the right person. And then he connected me to Riley Williams, who happened to be working in the Meta Reality Labs at that point. We kept talking again, but he happened to reach out to me after some months that, hey, let's do it full time together. And yeah, rest is history. So he was based in Seattle. And for me, geography was never the problem and pain point, because in Spotify, I learned one thing: you can do great things and global things by sitting anywhere in the world.
Okay, so fantastic product, fantastic team. Where do you come from? What did you study, and how was your like education?
So I was born in Jabalpur. It's in Madhya Pradesh. Did my engineering in information technology, because it's something by default, you know, as an Indian you do. First you have to go through engineering and then you figure out what you have to do next. So it happened pretty much in my career as well. In parallel, I was running a metal band, and then I was also studying for AI and data structures. So that was like the duality that I was living for quite a while. But at some point I had to make a call that, am I going all in into, you know, my professional journey into technology, or continuing in the band? And then it became very clear that it's difficult to sustain a band in India, especially a metal band. It became clear to me that, okay, I want to continue single-handedly and go all in into my technology journey. And then I did my master's in design from IIT Bombay. I studied in ITC in interaction design. Started connecting dots between how the human mind actually works, what is actually user-centered design, and how to connect technology with by building products that people actually use. Then got a job in Samsung in their consumer team in the Moonshot team, which was building the foldable smartphones and the voice interfaces. Did that for a couple of years. In 2020, I ended up joining Spotify in the music creation team.
That makes a lot of sense. So, you have recently been invited in Shark Tank India. How is it? When are you coming on television? And imagine you being on television of screens in a country of 1.4 billion.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling super happy that we were able to make to the final round. Like 21 startups out of 15,000 that applied, and I'm really looking forward to being aired on TV if that happens. It's gonna be somewhere between mid of January and mid of March.
So you have a fantastic journey, Sourabh, and you're coming from India, and then you're building something in India, and obviously being working in the majority of the part of the world, which makes it even exciting. And the music tech scene in India is rising, and I think it will be going good. Yeah. So yeah, with that, I think so we should bring the end of this podcast, and I think so. If my only question is, what is one piece of advice you would like to give for the new upcoming founders, especially coming from India in music tech space?
One thing which has really helped me is all the material that YC has put out. I think if one thing you have to do if you're going on the founding journey, definitely look at all the videos of Y Combinator on YouTube. They have fantastic advices over there, all the way from how to go after a specific niche. It helps in building a pretty solid product. But also, apart from the traditional wisdom, as a founder who is coming from India, I would say that there is no other substitution to working extremely hard. And it's becoming more and more prominent in the world of AI, especially when intelligence is getting democratized through OpenAIs and Geminis out there. You can find intelligence pretty easily, but you still need to work rigorously and very hard, hours and hours and hours, pretty much 7 days a week, in order to go far and compete with the global companies. So I feel that the concept of cities is going to disappear. Like any founder, even if you are from Bhopal or Jabalpur or New Delhi, you are still competing with companies which are sitting in San Francisco, Stockholm, New York. So it's very important to develop that global mindset and think big. So I think think big and work hard. I think that's the only thing which I'm saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are the things which you should certainly have not done when you were starting the company?
Yeah.
What would be those things?
Oh, I've done plenty of mistakes, and some of them are embarrassing. But one of the biggest mistake for me was overvaluing myself in the beginning of the journey, overvaluing the company. It's very important to remain humble in that journey. Sometimes you may feel that, okay, you have worked in XYZ company, you have certain experience, you can raise a lot. And probably a lot of people will. And I still see people raising 12 million pre-seed round, 10 million pre-seed round, 3 million pre-seed round, and people do that. But given that I did not have the entrepreneurship background before, and I did not have any prototype even at that point, asking for too much money may have backfired in some way or the other. So that's one mistake I've done, and I would advise everyone who's watching this podcast to not make that mistake and focus on bringing clarity into the product itself instead of thinking about raising too much money.
Okay, that's quite something, and I believe that a lot of founders have an inherent belief that they have right over investors' money.
100% agree to that. And I think rightly said, I think rightly worded, and I fully agree to that. I just had to go through that journey to learn that I've made a few mistakes, and it's fine. I'll probably not make that mistake ever again. Now that journey has made me much more humble. now I know what I'm worth or what the product is worth with a lot more clarity.
How has been your fundraising journey till now?
Investors definitely want to speak. But what I've realized is that the music tech is definitely a domain which is very hard to crack. And a lot of investors do not have their conviction in this area. And there is an inherent belief system that making a lot of money in this area and in this domain, it's very difficult. And only very few companies have been able to make it extremely big and give 100x returns to their investors, right? So that's what I've realized, that if you have to become successful in the music tech domain, you have to pick up the right product which may give 100x, and that needs to become very clear and evident when you're talking to investors. Because the amount of investment that has happened in this industry, and because companies did not return that much X back to the investors, there is some hesitation, there is some skepticism in the market. And that's what I've understood and learned so far.
So, do you think that there is a certain sense of fear?
100%. Yeah.
Huh?
I think 100%. I feel there is some level of fear. And again, it's not a fact, it's my opinion. I don't take it for a fact. To everyone who's watching this, there is a lot of gimmick happening in the market when it comes to music tech. So the line to draw between the true value and the gimmick is often very small. People are making a lot of fun products, a lot of entertaining products, products which may not have inherent network effects in that, which may not make a lot of money. And they are great products, but most likely they're not great businesses. And that journey from making great product to great business is something which I feel is a lot of times missing in this domain. And even if we look at AI as a technology, right, when I'm building in the music AI space, a lot of people still see this as a toy. They feel that, oh, you're just allowing people to make song through prompt, now what? But they're often missing the point that this is just like the beginning of the technology, and it's going to become like truly revolutionary, because we are not just building one tool, but it's entirely a new product paradigm altogether. It's going to disrupt the DAWs, it's going to disrupt how the distribution of the music works, it's going to disrupt how the streaming and the listening experience fundamentally happens right now. I think it's overarching across all of these domains, and I fundamentally believe it's game changing.
Okay, so we read something very interesting. Gimmick and creating value. What is gimmick that is happening?
So couple of things, like I believe there are a couple of products which are very fun and entertaining, or they can be a feature in a bigger product, or they can be something you will spend a couple of minutes playing with, right? For example, adding some effects or remixing something. I think they do not necessarily have like a lot of inherent value. Plus, for example, another pattern which I see is building another version of X when X already exists, and not adding differentiation, more about like how it will be different from all the other products out there. I think that's where I feel oftentimes a lot of products are in the arena of gimmick.
I mean, I asked this question because we review close to a lot of businesses every month, and we see a lot. This is first time somebody has said it publicly, and this is something we don't say it, but we evaluate and we quietly move out. And if it is a word gimmick coming out of from a founder, is a validation that things need to work, they need to create value, they need to create profit, they need to solve specific pain point or problems, and then only you can call it a decent business. Otherwise, yes, you might raise money, yes, you might get downloads, but then if you see, when you plot the numbers for say 3 years, 5 years period, and you see whether there's a business or not, and practically you won't have a business. Because when somebody invests money, they expect a return on investment, and that is a classical framework. Another approach is, I like it, it's my hobby. Let's go on. But then you do it in your room alone, and you do the way the Coco Melon did, actually. And I like that. The Coco Melon family didn't met anybody in the world, and they said, okay, we like it, so we make it. Eventually, some smart man went and bought that Coco Melon, and then things happened. But either you make your own Coco Melon in the house, or make a good stuff that really sells.
Raising money is not the end of your journey, right? Like raising money is actually beginning of the journey. Once you're raising the money, the only thing which should be in the mind of the founder is like how to return that money 10 times, right? And that's something which cannot happen through building gimmicks. You have to truly bring value into the society. You have to build something that people can't live without and they are ready to constantly keep paying for that value that you are adding into that life. And for that, solving clear problem instead of just giving a painkiller to someone. It's fine to build painkillers also, but also building something which is healing people for the problems that they're facing. I think that's where I draw the line, that am I building a gimmick or am I building truly a value bringing product which can change the society maybe in some way or the other.
And I like the analogy, whether you're making a painkiller or you're making a healer. And that is the right way. And because I also have a back problem, and I understand what a healing does and what the back pain does. Anyways,
And there is a reason why art and design are different, right? Like art is something that you do for yourself. If you have a passion, you can do it for yourself. You can build a gimmick product for yourself. There is no problem for that.
yeah,
But if you're going after designing something, you have to return the value and, build something meaningful for the person you're designing it for. It's not for you, it's for other person.
Yeah, I also come from design school. We both interestingly, we both went to the best design schools in our country, and we would have crossed paths multiple times, but without knowing each other. And I understand that design and art are different, and it's very difficult to make the simple thing explain to the whole field, which is music, which is attributed to art. And you just have to explain art is for yourself and design is for other. And in the same way, hobby is for yourself and business is to make money. It's as simple as that. And but then we are standing in an industry which is essentially called art. So I mean there is a cross intersection. So I understand it. But anyways, thank you so much, Saurabh, for this beautiful conversation. There was so much to learn from you. We really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope that you do really good, and I wish you best of luck, and take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Taj. It was incredible chatting with you. Would love to keep chatting with you even apart from this podcast. And thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. And take care.
Thanks you, everyone. So that's it for this week, and next week we'll just bring a new interesting founder with a new interesting journey. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.